So what happens next? I don't know. I bet you guys were yelling at your TV. Don't take that off. You're stupid. Yeah. He's a little bitey today. All right. You just stay over there. Yeah. So really shitty situation here. All right, we're back the next morning, and I've got all the bell housing bolts loose. Everything's loose, so we're going to try and pull the transmission with Norman's help. I'm sure it'll go great. He's a little bitey today. All right, you just stay over there. All right, we got all the. So we're back the next morning. We got all the bell housing bolts out. Headers are loose. Converter's loose. So we're ready to drop the transmission. So I enlisted Mom's help this morning. She's super chipper today. So I'm sure this will go perfectly fine. All right, let's see if we can get these out. All right, check it. Yeah, check it out a little bit. Oh, that's good. All right. The nice thing about this car, since it still had the stock 273, it still has all the factory bolts, all the factory hardware. And the factory hardware, I have to say, goes in 10 times better than the hardware store hardware that Betty, for example, has. We're going to change that, I think, over the winter. Okay. It's raining sockets. Oh, I guess I'm so I get those all the way off. Those bolts are not Bluetooth. That is such a lie. That really wiggled there.
Yes, it did.
Ooh. I guess the jack's so unlevel here. That boy just about went for a ride.
Okay, I'm just under it all. No worries.
I'm sure you could have caught it.
Oh, yeah, totally. It might be the pole. I'm not sure when that must be.
Alright, we're loose, so you can let her down. Slowly.
Yes.
Let it down slowly.
Yes.
I have a feeling the 727 is not going to go in nearly as easy as the 904 comes out. I mean, they're on hooks.
Shut up.
She just panicked and went the wrong way. A towel, so it's not.
I'm already dirty at this point.
Probably should have gotten gloves. I'm gonna take the converter out first, so it's not as heavy.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, it's so clean in there. The converter looks like new. I think I've had it out 4 or 5 times. We didn't even drip a drop of transmission fluid. That's gotta be some kind of. That's gotta be some kind of record. Wow, that went pretty good. Pretty impressed. Almost like we've done this before. All right, all that's left is the engine mounts. So let's. We're gonna go pull the motor. Stand by. All right, we're gonna bring her back. We're gonna bring her back to planet Earth. So we still have a lot of work to do before the new engine goes in. I gotta clean everything. I'm probably gonna cut the K member up a little bit to make clearance. I'm gonna change the steering to manual. So it'll be a little bit, which is good because I realized I didn't order a flex plate or flex plate bolts or converter bolts. Although I think the new converter came with bolts, but I think they actually included bolts. But I upgraded our lift with the handy dandy Jegs thing, and Jegs forgot to send us the hardware that comes with it for some reason. I don't know. So I made some. So hopefully it'll work. Typically the stuff that comes with them doesn't work for Mopars anyway. I even have a custom step stool for this situation because we've done it so many times now. All right. My goal here is to not break the distributor. I don't want to take the distributor out because the timing's set. And I mean, this is pretty much a fired up and go engine, whether I sell it or, you know, I don't sell stuff. So whether I reuse it someday. I need to get on Amazon and order a little swivel for this. I think that would make this a lot easier too. Instead of a hook, if you had a swivel. I figured I'd buy this since we're going to be pulling like motor swapping going this winter. Hopefully that means no motor swapping next winter. All right, so towels in place so we don't scratch our beautiful paint. Okay. So we've not taken the engine mount out, so it's obviously not going to come out. So we got the last engine mount bolt out, so I think we are ready to Yankee. So there's pumps. Oh yeah. All right. I know you're so ferocious. Pump it. All right, just like that, it's free. So we got the 340 pulled. So now we'll start on cleaning everything up and getting the manual steering converted and go from there. Well, we got some lunch after we got the engine pulled, and now we're on to pulling the steering box and things. So I went ahead and disconnected the pitman arm from the whatever this is called, and we got the tie rod loose. All that has to come out to get that old header out, which was really easy. Not really. So next we're going to try and get these steering box bolts out. I've never actually removed a power steering box from a car before. So this will be a learning experience for me. I expect these bolts will be, oh, they're actually not too bad. All right, so I'm going to get this out of here. They're pretty beefy bolts for a steering box, so we'll get all these out of here. I remember this is all from 1968. This car's never been touched as far as this kind of stuff goes, so. The steering is still plenty tight on this car. Alright, that will look gunky on the outside there. There's not really any way to get in there and clean that though when it's an assembly. You're not getting your hand in there with the headers and stuff in there, that's for sure. So, I wish I would have weighed the car before we did this. It would have been nice to know what it weighed before the small block and then after, or with the small block and then moving with the big block. Small block had steel heads though, the big block has aluminum heads. But we also had the 904, which is quite a bit smaller than the 727. So. Alright, we got a punch and hammer to try and get this dowping out of here. You guys are learning with me today because I have never done this, so. Ta-da! Alright, we got the dowping out. So what happens next? I don't know. Just come up. I just want to pry those apart. Probably need to pry it off the shaft. I don't think the zip tie is factory. Alright, so what we're trying to do is pry the collar off the shaft. The steering box here. We got the dowel pin out. Oh no. Pry it up and it just pops off. Alright. Seems to be all the further it wants to go. I don't know if you have to pull the steering column in the car or not. Probably so. Which isn't that bad, but not in the position to do that at the moment. Let's see.
2 very boring minutes later.
Alright, we got the steering box out. We had some technical difficulties there. But let me tell you, this thing weighs a ton. Absolute ton. Alright, so here's the new steering box. Look how much smaller this is. And I can actually hold this one. 38.6 pounds versus 14 pounds. It's 20 pounds lighter. It's only 20 pounds. Plus the power steering pump. I guess I could get that too, because that's not going back on, obviously. Alright, so the power steering pump weighs 13. So 13 plus 38, what was that, like 50 something? So that's like, it's like 30 or 40, that'll take like 30 or 40 pounds off the nose of the car, which is exactly what we're trying to do here. Oh, I see. I see. So this goes inside this. Allegedly. It needs to be cleaned. So I definitely do need this, so I should not have taken that off. I bet you guys were yelling at your TV. Don't take that off, you're stupid. Yeah. I told you I've done this before. It's fine. We're going to clean everything. Alright, I think that's probably enough for right now, because I got a lot of cleaning to do. So I got one of those sonic cleaners. So let's see how it does on all of these parts. We're going to toss everything in there, see if we can get everything cleaned up, brake clean the engine bay, and we'll be back. I'm back on the Dart today, and we have made quite a bit of progress since the other day. Alright, so we got the steering all done. And to convert the steering, I ended up using the steering gear kit, which comes with an adapter to go from your power steering shaft to your manual steering box. It needs to be a little bit longer, basically, so this is just an extension. And it just slides in there, and that's about it. The steering gear kit comes with the pitman arm that you need for the manual steering, and it comes with the adapter. So the steering gear kit made it really easier than I thought it was going to be. It went together pretty good. The hardest part was cleaning everything up. The only snafu I had was, let me show you. So my threads got messed up on my inner tie rod end here. So I couldn't get this nut to rethread on there. I ended up having to get a tap, or a die, I guess, and run a die over those threads to clean it up. I spent more time than I like to admit getting the threads on that cleaned up so that it would all bolt back together. But we got the steering wheels on center, and we got the steering pretty well centered, and you can see there is no play in the steering box. I was a little worried. I got the steering box at a swap meet years ago, probably 2 or 3 years ago, because I've been saving parts for this forever, and I was a little worried it was going to have slop in it, but it doesn't. You can see any movement in that moves the steering arm. You see it's all super tight. So it ended up working great. And you can see that makes so much more room in here. And so we got the wiring, starting to clean it up. I need to remove some wires out of this harness here to clean it up. I'm not going to need the alternator wires. We had the old regulator box and stuff like that from 1968. We're not going to need that anymore. We're going to a one-wire system. So I'm going to try and clean up some of these wires. But today, I realized I have to move the shifter, because the shifter is going to hit the 727 tail shaft where the bolts come through. So I need to move the shifter just a little bit forward or backwards. So that's where I'm at today. So I got the shifter unbolted, and we're moving right along here. Really happy with how this has turned out. And you can see how clean the engine base turned out. I've spent a lot of time getting everything nice and clean. No dirt. So yeah, this would have made my, having all this out would have made the changing the proportioning valve and all that I did with all the engine in the car a whole lot easier. But, oh, so anyway, let's go ahead and move the shifter and we'll go on from there. So we're actually getting close. Let me show you real quick the headers that we've got for this thing. So we've got these headers that I picked up. These are brand new old stock from TTI. These are TTI classic 440 A-body headers. I think they're probably 10 years old, so they have a little bit of surface rust. They need to be hit with an SOS pad. I've had these headers for, I don't know, a couple years, but I drove all the way to Michigan to pick them up because they're hard to find and they are super expensive. But, you know, we're always on a budget, so I picked them up used for a pretty good deal. I think we got them for $600 or $700, and the guy threw in a starter, a brand new starter that's supposed to work with them too, for another $100. So I think we should be making progress. We might have this thing sitting in the car by the end of the weekend. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I'm going to keep moving the shifter, remounting the shifter, which it is what it is, and just keep like Vice Grip Garage says. This is such a large project that it's kind of overwhelming at times, and I kind of used Vice Grip Garage's mantra of you just got to keep moving your feet. Just keep moving your feet because you don't know where to start. So I just kind of keep moving my feet, working on it a little bit here and there. And I think we're starting to make really good progress. We might have this thing in the car by the end of the weekend. Probably not ready to fire up at the end of the weekend, but hopefully we'll have it sitting in the car by the end of the weekend. You can see the fancy engine plate we're going to use. So this is from Mancini. We got the Mancini alternator relocation kit that uses the PowerMaster alternator. So yeah, this should be pretty nice. Should be pretty nice. Super thick engine plate. I think it's like 3/8 of an inch thick. So hopefully the engine doesn't flex too much. I haven't thought about a torque strap yet, but I know we're going to need one of those to limit it fore and aft. All right, kind of jumping all over, but all right, I'm going to get in here and work on the shifter, and we'll show you after we get it moved. All right, so I also did quite a bit of work underneath the car. Since the last video. Let me show you. So we had the clearance on the Dart. You can see they have this ridge right here that hangs down, I don't know, it probably hangs down an inch in the middle. So this ridge here hangs down like an inch on a Dart. So I went ahead and sliced it. I pie cut it all the way down and then folded it down and then welded it back together, and then seam sealed it, and then painted it. It turned out pretty clean. That looks as good as, I would say almost as good as factory. So the reason I have to move the shifter is 2 of the shifter bolts were coming through the cross member here, and it was really close with the 904, so I know it's going to be too close with the 727. There's no way that's not going to hit the tail shaft. So we just got to move the shifter, yes, up like literally just like an inch to get it into this part here. So it's kind of a bummer that we got to move it just that little bit, but it is what it is. There's no way around it. So I'm going to move the shifter. I'm going to weld these holes back up, which I'm not super thrilled about because it seems like there's, I don't know if Dodge used a little bit of galvanized type metal, or if there's some kind of coating on some of this factory metal, because it just does not weld very well at all. Sometimes it just like splatters everywhere. It makes a huge mess. So I cut out the factory engine mounts, the small block mounts. You can see where they were right here, and then they were over here. So I cut those out. That took quite a bit of time. And then I also went ahead and re-welded this piece back in here to reinforce the frame. For the steering box, I don't know if it's needed, but I know there's no flex at all in anything now. Everything's nice and tight. hey, we're chugging right along. I think everything's turning out super nice. This is not a, I mean, obviously this is not a show car. It's just, but I do want to make it as nice as I can. All right, so let's keep moving my feet. We're gonna move the shifter. I probably need to go. I don't really have my welding clothes on, so I'm probably gonna have to go change so I don't burn up my. Mom doesn't yell at me for burning holes in my the clothes she gets me. You know, that'd be bad. All right, stay tuned. Okay, guys, we're gonna end the Dart video off right there. That was a ton of work. We got the steering box in. We got the shifter moved. We got the firewall cut and split. We got the wiring cleaned up a little bit. And yeah, that was just a ton of work. But more to come on the Dart. Thanks for sticking with us. But figured I'd take a break and show you the joys of racing week to week and maintenance upkeep. So even when the motorhome is great, we love our motorhome. It's been really good to us. But there's always something with it, and this week is no different. So this is probably my biggest nightmare. So went to drain the tanks on the motorhome. The little handles there that you pull to drain the tanks were, one of them was a little sticky. Of course, it was the yucky one. And of course I pulled it and the handle pulled right out of it. Yeah, so really shitty situation here. So I got to take all this apart and it's going to be disgusting. So that's what we're dealing with here. So I'll show you what I got to take apart. So here's what we're dealing with. So this handle here, I pulled it and it's the little gaskets inside must have hung it up because it ripped right out of the whole thingamabobber. So I tried to kind of get it back together last night. I failed miserably, so I even put it together back upside down. So that was awesome. And so now I've got to reassemble it correctly. This is just pretty much my worst nightmare. So figured I'd share that. Show you when we get it all done here. But obviously I can't really touch my camera or phone while we are messing with this because yeah, that's yucky stuff. I'm not touching my phone during that. But yeah, thanks for sticking with the Dart. More to come. We eventually, hopefully, get the engine in the car. So do us a favor and click the like button. Unfortunately, since we haven't been consistent on making videos, we've kind of fallen out of the logarithm there. Not really recommending us anymore, which is fine. We're not monetized or anything anyway. I don't even think we can get monetized. But yeah, click that like button. It doesn't cost you anything. Make a comment about, if you want, about, I don't know, if you hate my face or my voice, I don't know. You can make a comment about it. It'd be great. But yeah, or don't. Who cares? So what? All right. Let me tackle this. Okay, guys. Through the magic of video, I've got it all back together after a trip to the hardware store to get all the hardware, because of course I broke every single bolt. They didn't use stainless bolts for that for whatever reason, which if you're gonna have something that's exposed to water, you should probably use stainless bolts. So anyway, here I'll show you. Not that it's not really that interesting, but I'll show you. Look at that, we got all new stainless bolts in there. No more leaks. I filled up the tank with water just to check it for leaks, and we are good as new again. All right, so I'm gonna give everything one more spray down with bleach. Bleach myself real good here, and I think we'll be all set. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.